We talked about climate change at the beginning of the show, and for many of us, its impact is most directly seen in our home landscapes. Tending to our yards and gardens amid climate challenges can be tricky, but we have just the right expert to help us sort things out. Linda Lehmusvirta, the longtime producer of Central Texas Gardender, one of the most popular programs here on Austin PBS. Linda, thanks so much for being with us.
It is a lot of fun to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, Linda. Well, let's start with a few basics. So, given our drought situation, what do you think are the most important things to keep in mind about watering? Too much? Not enough? What's the tea?
Okay, the main thing to consider is your soil and the light the plant gets and the plant. Okay, so those three things are going to determine how much you water. Then for the first year or two with trees, you want to do deep watering. And then for other plants, with new plants, you want to establish them until their roots are settled. So there's not any hard and fast rule about how much to water. You just need to pay attention to what's going on.
And speaking of plants specifically, you recommend planting primarily native plants. So why is that, and what are some good examples of some good go-to native plants that really thrive in our area that we can plant?
Well, first of all, let's back up just a little bit on this native plant thing. So people like to say, oh, a native plant, but it depends on where it's native to. So what's native or endemic to the hill country may not work in East Austin. Now, because plants can be, they don't really care what you want. They are out there to do what they want. There are plants that will go both ways. Say Turk's cap, that's a very good one to plant, a perennial. It will take sun, it will take part shade, some sun, part shade, low water, doesn't mind the freezes. Things like rock rose, Bavonia works really well. So there are some plants that can go either way and other plants that are very opinionated, and you have to go along with their opinions.
Plants, they're just like people, you know. Sometimes they get set in their ways, you can't change it. And I get it, you know, if I'm in one mood and, you know, like I'm a plant, I don't want sunlight. I don't want, you know, sometimes I want to be in the dark too and like not talk to anyone and just hide away. I get it. And I just need, Linda, some plants that like are unkillable. I just need some ones that will be resistant to everything, including me.
And that would be Turk's cap. Turk's cap would be a very, very good one to add to that arsenal.
Note to self. Okay, note to self. And another concern for home gardeners is ground cover, whether in plant form or otherwise, like mulch or rocks. So first, for those of us that might not exactly know what that means, can you explain what that is and why it's important?
There's a lot of different opinions about mulch, as there are with everything, especially in this plant world. So if you think about where the plant naturally grows. If it's native to the hill country and grows in a rock outcropping, it's not going to want a bunch of bark mulch. It's not a forest plant. Some plants are, you know, they're used to trees, limbs and things falling on them, and so they're more used to it. So think about that. If you have a dry plant like a succulent, you don't really want to pile a bunch of bark mulch around it. You might want to give it more of a gravelly kind of thing. You see in parking lots, people put this, it's called, what is it called? Volcano mulching.
Volcano, okay, that's a bold name, yeah.
That's a really fast way to kill your tree. So you don't want to do that. You want to create a bowl. The mulch can collect the water. So that's the main thing about mulch.
There's so much that goes into it, and it's definitely, I'm learning so much. And I know gardening for some folks can be intimidating, but it's important to remember that gardening can also be fun and creative and expressive. And you've talked with so many great gardeners over the years. So Linda, can you talk about why people get so passionate about this and your advice to maybe some beginner gardeners like myself that might be a little scared to get going?
Well, the main thing is just to get out there and do it. There's something very pleasurable about abandoning your other responsibilities, sloughing off the hamster in your head, the struggle, the things constantly going around.
I need that.
And just going out, digging in the dirt, or sitting there and listening to the birds, planting a seed, watching the butterflies, whatever it is. And I hear that over and over again, that people find this joy that they created this something. And it was just a matter of putting together a few little plants. It wasn't like trying to change the world, but they're changing the world in their own little way by having this little pollinator habitat. Even on a balcony, you can make a difference and the butterflies and the bees will come to you where maybe they didn't before. You'll have a toad or you'll have a lizard, and suddenly, it's all okay.
I love that. You're creating a little plant and animal sanctuary maybe in your own backyard.
Yeah.
And how can you not be at peace surrounded by that? I love that. Well, you've given me a lot to think about. And Linda, full disclosure, you've coached me through the loss of my poor baby cactus that I've had for like 5 years that I bought from someone on the side of the road and I've had with me. But you know what? Now I'm going to take your advice.
Get another one.
I'm going to get another one. I'm going to build a whole habitat. And I hope the next time we chat, it will still be alive.
It will. Good luck.
We're manifesting it. Thank you, Linda. Linda Lehmusvirta with Central Texas Gardender. Thanks so much for sharing your tips and joining us today.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe and leave us a comment below to let us know your thoughts on this video. And don't forget, you can watch full episodes of Austin Insight for free in the PBS app.